Oh, beautiful. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us will be near to us once more. Someday soon we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, a merry little Christmas now.
Good morning. Ooh. Ooh. Hello. I like to be in front of this anyway, but I have so much on here. It's very important. So good to see you this morning. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the best day ever. I haven't said that in a while. Since last Sunday, no. And as I stand here, it's with the knowledge that one of the people I know and love took their life this week. And I know a lot of people have exited the planet recently. So how can I stand here and say something like that? I stand here and say something like that because every moment is a choice. Every moment is an opportunity. And I recognize that what the caterpillar calls death, the butterfly calls birth. And we're all in these cycles, the cycles that never end. And sometimes we're the caterpillar, and sometimes we're in the cocoon, having our insides being replaced and torn apart. And sometimes we're emerging as a butterfly, flying to the next experience of freedom. And each and every one of us are somewhere in that cycle. But every part of the cycle is beautiful. Every part is a great place to be. So wherever you're at, it's the perfect and right place to be. Now we have a lot of these things coming to us in life right now. I notice the holidays, and I've noticed this year after year, the holidays are either really happy or really sad. There's not a lot of in between. And often it's because of those things that have happened in our life where we cherish the rituals, we cherish the reminders, we cherish the family, we cherish the fun so much that having somebody not in our life causes us to be really sad. So I want to talk today about best case scenario, worst case scenario. Best case scenario, worst case scenario. Our theme this week is that we teach spiritual practices to address the everyday life. So what's happening? Life is happening every day. So we teach spiritual practices so that you can have an experience of a greater sense of meaning, a greater sense of purpose, and a greater sense of inspiration. And we're all at choice. Again, I choose to say today's the best day ever. But that's because today's the only day I have. It's the only one I have. This moment is the only moment I have. I can pretend that I'm in the future. I can pretend that I'm in the past, but I'm not. I'm right here. And a lot of us try and bring the past with us, and they want the past to be now. Or they want to recreate the past. Or they want a better past. And none of that can change. But what can change is this very moment. And then a lot of people are futurizing, oh, I would like the future to be like this. I'd like the future to be like this. But still, you're not there. You're only here. And the only way you can create a future that supports you is by your choices in this very moment. That's the only opportunity you have to make a different future, is by choosing a different now with each and every one of us. So here we teach, we say, change your thinking, change your life. It's more than a motto, it's a method. There is a method to our madness. Yes. Ah, come on, everybody. I felt good, see? New people are like, where did I come? Where did I come? Well, we create new neural pathways that become second nature to us when we put in the time and the practice, and the practice, and the practice, and the practice. What I teach here improves your health. Just by walking in that door, your blood pressure lowers, your mind works clearer, and you are inspired to take action in your life in a positive way. This place is a mood enhancer, an uplifter, and a contagion of happiness. This is a healing and wellness center. People who stick around here heal their lives, their bodies, and their relationships. You see, the more confident you become and the power to direct your own thought, the more powerful it actually becomes. Your belief is creating your reality. Your belief is creating your reality. We have this amazing book of the month that is just blowing my mind. I love it. It's called You Are the Placebo. And there's a bunch of studies in here, and I talked about it last week that Dr. Joe Dispenza, he had a bicycle accident in his 20s, where he was supposed to be, I think 7 or 8 of his vertebrae crushed, and he was supposed to be paralyzed for the rest of his life. He did not have surgery, and he healed his body through his thoughts, through his mind. He actually rearranged his body and healed it. And 9 weeks after he had the accident, he walked out of the hospital. And then he spent the rest of his life figuring out, how the heck did I do that? What happened? What happened there? So he started researching about the placebo effect. And there was this study in 1962, a poison ivy study. It was done in Japan with a group of children who are all extremely allergic to poison ivy. And so what they did is they got a poison ivy leaf and they rubbed it on the child's forearm. They had 13 kids who were extremely allergic to poison ivy. They said, this leaf is harmless. We're conducting a test. This leaf is harmless. And they rubbed it on them. And then they said, this leaf, which was a non-poison ivy leaf, was a completely harmless leaf. They said, this is poison ivy. And they rubbed it on them, on the other arm, so they could test which one, what happened. All of the children reacted to the non-poison ivy leaf. 11 out of the 13 children did not react to the poison ivy leaf. Yeah. So how does that happen? How does that happen? So we can say that the children were freed from the future expectation of a physical reaction to the toxic leaf based on their past experience of being allergic, just because they thought differently. Just because they thought differently. And it makes me think, are we more likely to suffer from arthritis and stiff joints, poor memory, decreased sex drive, just because that's what society has told us that life is about? Just because we've inherited belief systems from our parents. So many people have inherited belief systems. Your parents said this is what happens, and so you believe that's what happens, and then that's what happens. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if there's a way to go around that? And what if there's a way that we can think differently about what's going on in our lives? Just think about it this way. All along you've been creating your reality from your belief system already. And you've been doing it in a way because your unconscious thought has been operating in your life. What if you started consciously choosing differently? They say a conscious thought is thousands of times more powerful than an unconscious thought. Thousands. In the Signs of Mind textbook, it says, what good is the possibility until it's used? What good is knowledge until we make practical use of it? So here I am, I'm talking about knowledge. We have knowledge. We have knowledge of the fact that our thoughts create our reality. That if we take a conscious direction in our lives will improve. We practice our spiritual practice. We practice prayer, which is a conscious use of our thoughts. It brings us in alignment with our truth of our being. We practice meditation, which is a surrendering of everything that's going on. We practice circulation, which is a giving of the gifts that we have into the world. We practice education. That's what I'm doing here. You take classes, you're being educated. And we practice service. These are all ways of shifting your life in a way that works for you. There's so much more going on, though. The Mayo Clinic published a study in 2002 that followed 447 people for more than 30 years, showing that optimists were healthier physically and mentally. So the optimists had fewer problems with daily activities as a result of their physical health or emotional state. They experienced less pain, were more energetic, and they had an easier time with social activities. They felt happier, calmer, and peaceful most of the time. Researchers at Yale followed 660 people aged 50 and older for up to 23 years, discovering that those with a positive attitude about aging lived more than 7 years longer. The attitude had more influence on them and longevity than their blood pressure, their cholesterol, smoking, their body weight, or their level of exercise. So, what are you creating with your attitude? So much more. Now, I said best case scenario, worst case scenario, right? So let's say you have a condition going on in your life, a health condition, and you expect the best of it. You choose to anticipate and assume the best out of everything, out of everybody, out of everything going on around you. And you choose to go for the glass is half full, right? You choose to do that. Research shows that you're more likely to have a healing. You're more likely to have a successful surgery. You're more likely to get through this challenging time. And you're less likely to have hindrances because of it. So, best case scenario, you're healed. What if you're not healed? Worst case scenario, you enjoy your life. Who wants to enjoy their life?
So we say.
Right? Who wants to enjoy your life? Yes. If you want to be happy, that means you get to choose to be happy. You get to choose the happiness before the event happens. You get to choose what your expectation is before it happens. And that will transcend so much other things in your life. So what if you're expecting, if you're going to futurize, if you're going to expect something happening in the future, why don't you expect the best? Why not? And what if you're talking to somebody and you have a friend and you're having a conversation? Now, we also talk about not making assumptions. But if you're going to assume something, what if you assume the best of that person or the situation? Oh my God, they didn't call me when they said they were going to. Oh my God, I can't believe they did that. What if you assume the best? What if something magnificent is happening to them that's so great they just lost track of time? But it didn't mean anything bad for you. It just meant that they lost track of time. What if you assume the best out of everybody that you came in contact with? I bet that would change everything in your life radically. I actually heard somebody say that a few years ago, and I've done that. I have absolutely done that. And I have such great experiences. I have amazing relationships in my life. And I keep having good news come to me. Even in situations that are challenging, I keep having good news come to me. So there's a tool we have. It's called the KISS tool. Ooh. KISS. Keep it simple. Keep it steady and strong. Keep it steady and strong. Steady and strong efforts produce a corresponding yield. See, we teach here that cause equals effects. So if you start your spiritual practice, you keep it steady and strong. What if you made it a spiritual practice to expect the best out of everybody? What if you made it a spiritual practice to assume that each and every person was working for your highest good? What if you assume that everything in the universe is conspiring for your greatest good? So, if you had regular, focused spiritual practice, you would develop integrity and congruence in all that you said and all that you did. If you had a regular practice of prayer, or meditation, or giving your gifts away, or learning about these spiritual practices through education, or stepping into service into the community, your life could be one that's better than you could ever imagine. But it means that you have to keep it steady and strong. It means that no matter what, when those things happen in your life, those are the times when you need to have your spiritual practice the most. When those challenging effects come up, that's the time when you need to keep the regular habit going on. It's kind of like my practitioner, I go to a practitioner, she said it's kind of like a spiritual bank account. And you keep putting the coins in. You keep putting the coins in. And you keep feeding that bank account. And then it gets interest. And then one day, you cash out on it. But you got to keep putting the coins into your spiritual bank account in order for that consciousness to grow in and through you. You see, proving this teaching is what we're all about. I want you to have your life changed. I want you to live the life of your dreams. I want you to be happy. But in order to do that, you need to step into a new way of being. You need to go out of your comfort zone. Maybe say a prayer for yourself or somebody else. Maybe start meditating. Maybe start giving some of your money away instead of holding on to it. All of those practices help you get into that place of living an extraordinary life. And you can have the best situation. I can tell you there are people in this room who have been healed from physical conditions. Absolutely 100% healed in conditions that doctors said were not possible to heal. And I can tell you there are people in this room who've experienced terrible, terrible things in their lives, and yet they're happy. And if you want to be the kind of person that no matter what life presents at you, you are thriving, then that's what you need to do, is you need to take your own life on and start being present to yourself and making a choice every moment. What if today were the best day ever? What could I do to create that? How could I be to make that possible? And at the same time, honor myself on where I'm at. You see, grief happens. I don't want you to avoid your grief. I want you to experience your grief and then walk through it. But at the other side, you are becoming that butterfly, no matter what. So keep these in mind. Practice your spiritual practice. Prayer, meditation, circulation, education, and service. It's 5 points of a balanced spiritual practice. Remember to kiss. Keep it steady and strong. And think about this. What would you create if you could create something new in your life because you're responsible? Are you willing to take your own life on today? Are you willing to assume the best out of everybody? Are you willing to expect the best? Yes. I am too. So let's have a great and thriving life together. Woohoo! Woohoo! Moo-ha-ha-ha! Oh, no. The best life ever. And so it is. Thank you. Woo. Woo. Oh, thank you. That felt good. Let's pray. I know and claim that there is an infinite universe, the great creator of all. I call it God, but other people call it the quantum field, Allah, Buddha, Pachamama. Whatever you call that infinite expression, the giver of all life, I know and claim that it is manifest in all of its creation, and it is love. It is creating upon these very thoughts, words, beliefs that I have, and I know that there's something that transcends even my beliefs. There's something that's greater than I could ever imagine. And so I tap in and tune into that immortal aspect of myself, recognizing that all the seasons, that all of the expressions in life, from the caterpillar to the chrysalis to the butterfly, they're all parts of me. And I honor each and every expression, knowing it's beautiful, exactly where it is. And so I choose today to be a manifest expression of a healthy life, a manifest expression of a thriving life, a manifest expression of the best day ever. I recognize that this truth is my truth, but it's also everybody's truth in this room and everybody who is listening online, that each and every person is awakened and open to a new idea of possibility for their lives. That there is something that is shifting and changing in each and every one of us. And so I surrender into that idea, knowing that it brings about greater possibilities, greater awarenesses, new insights, new revelations in ways that are spontaneous and healing, in ways that are greater than I could ever imagine, so that my body thrives, so that my mind thrives, so that who I am thrives, no matter what is going on. I recognize this truth and I honor it. I honor the processes, the human processes of grieving. I honor that process in me, knowing that my feelings are valid. I honor that process in me, knowing that I step through this, knowing that there is a shift and change that is opening up a new life for me, because I know one thing ending is always a new beginning. And so I look for the new beginnings of my life. I see them, I feel them, I hear them, I recognize them, and I step into them, recognizing that there is beauty everywhere. As I see this for myself, I see this for this whole community as we blossom and grow into new expressions. I'm so grateful to know this truth, to feel it, to know it, and to embody it right here and right now on behalf of everybody. And knowing that God does the work, that I am here to just be present to it and to enjoy the ride. And so I just celebrate that truth with gratitude, with appreciation, with knowing that it just keeps getting better. And I ask myself, how can it get any better than this? And then it does. How can it get any better than this? And then it does. How can it get any better than this? And then it does. And so I allow that, I open to it, I surrender to it, and I welcome it. And with that, I release this prayer, letting it go and letting it be. And so it is.
And so it is.
Namaste.
Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now.